All right, so I've just got back from Ironman 70.3 Krakow this weekend. I can't say everything went to plan. Quite a few things went wrong in my opinion, but it was a really useful experience and an absolutely stunning race. So let me talk you through how my day went. Quite an early start, 8 a.m, and it was in split transition, so we had to get over there. But I was feeling all right, got some food down me, classic Nutella on bread that I go for at every race because you can just get it anywhere. Before the race, we were pretty sure it was going to be non-wetsuit, but it was confirmed non-wetsuit. So as a weaker swimmer myself, that kind of meant that this race wasn't lined up for me to be that close to the front on the swim. Generally, weaker swimmers are more impacted by non-wetsuit and lake swims as well, because you're not in the sea, which is much more buoyant, obviously, with the salt. So not ideal setup, but oh my God, it was absolutely gorgeous. And being the only ones in the lake, it was just stunning to be racing there. It was a start in the water, so all of us lined up and the nerves were definitely getting high. The gun went, I gave it some beans at the beginning, but I'm always very cautious that even though I'm a weaker swimmer, I don't want to push too hard on the swim because then that can ruin me for the bike and the run. I could see there were quite a few guys behind me, but the gap just kept growing to the guys in front, and it was a long swim, it felt like. But the paces weren't too bad. I wasn't much further off of the front than I normally am. I think it was about 3.5 minutes off the front. And for non-wetsuit in a lake, I can't be too disappointed with that. But it really does just highlight how much I need to improve my swim. I really think that is my biggest downfall in these races, because if I had a slightly stronger swim, I'd be able to ride from further up in the pack and wouldn't have to work so hard on the bike to catch up towards the middle of the race. But anyways, that was the situation I found myself in. I absolutely hurled it through T1, like sent it running up, got my swim skin off, got the fastest T1 of the day. So that was a decent chocolate medal that I got there, and got onto the bike, and I knew I had a lot of work to do. I could tell there was a big gap between me and the group in front from the swim, where I could see them in the distance. So I just laid the power down for about 30, 40K and managed to catch a group in front. Once I caught the group in front, it just felt quite slow, to be honest. So I had caught up about 2 minutes in the first 30, 40K. So I settled in for a little bit, and then I tried to attack the group. And every time I attacked, people would work to try and catch me back. So I couldn't quite get a gap, but I felt like on the front, was working quite well to close the gaps to the group in front. The group kind of got together, and we hit a turnaround point. So it was just 45K out, 45K back. And this is where things kind of went wrong, to be honest. So it was in the group, and I really tried to get a gap going out after the turnaround point, because there was a group of about 8 or 9 of us, and I did not want to ride into T2 with them, and I was feeling strong on the bike. So I started pushing it quite hard on the front, especially after the turnaround, and 1 or 2 other guys were really trying to get that break going with me. And we were just rotating quite quickly, short turns, obviously trying to keep the 12-meter gap as best as we could. So we were trying to get a gap, and I was in second wheel, and this motorbike comes up beside me and starts speaking to me in Polish, and I have no clue what he's saying. I'm very confused because I don't feel like I've done anything different to anyone else is doing. And I raced 2-3 weeks ago in Swansea, where we had Race Ranger. So there I got a really good idea of the distances you can actually keep. And I was very confident I was holding the 12 meters, if not more, closer to 15, 20. And he started shouting at me, and I genuinely didn't know what was going on. And then one of the other Polish riders came past and said, "You've got a penalty." Started trying to argue with the guy, because I was like, I'm not doing anything different to anyone else. I know this is more than 12 meters. I was very frustrated, but I couldn't really argue with the referee in a different language. I was forced into the penalty tent basically by the referee on the motorbike, and sat there for 2 minutes, and there was someone who was able to translate with the referee, and the referee basically said, "You guys were all quite close to each other, and I had to give one of you a penalty." And I was just fuming about that, because first of all, I feel that I was at a safe distance, so over 12 meters. And second of all, I think if you say that everyone is doing it, you've either got to give everyone a penalty or no one a penalty. But anyways, I was the unlucky person in the group, but that was the hands I'd been dealt with. At this point, it was absolutely bucketing it down. So I was not in the best way at that point, but I was just trying to get through it, get to T2 and see what I did from there. I got to T2 and I decided to get my run shoes on and just give it full beans. I mean, this is my last race for a while. I'm not someone who quits, and I just wanted to see what I could do on the run. And I really did run quite well, to be honest. I wasn't looking at my watch too much, but every lap I'd lap it and it said around 330s to 335s kilometers average. So that's kind of like towards the upper end of what I've ever run before. Managed to tick off quite a few spaces. I think I overtook about 8 guys on the run. But in all honesty, I didn't finish quite where I'd hoped I would. It's a frustrating end to a really nice block of racing that I've had this season. I've had 3 races where I've performed to or above my expectations or ability. And I really wanted to round it off in a really nice, positive way, potentially get into the top 10 or even further in this competitive field. And it didn't quite all go to plan, but I'm taking a lot of learnings and positives from it. That's my race, that's my spiel. I'm really pleased with how this season has gone. I mean, I started this season ranked, I think, 500th in the world, and now I'm up to 230th or something like that. And to balance that around full-time medical school, in the hospital most days, I'm really pleased with my ability to manage that. What's next is a big question. So as I've already alluded to, I don't have many races coming up in the near future. I'm just taking a bit of time now to relax, let the body and mind reset. I don't have any university going on at the moment, any med school, and I don't have any races on the near horizon. So I'm just taking a bit of a mid-season / late season break. I'm going abroad with my family in a couple of weeks, which should be a nice reset as well. And then I'll come back and hit it hard late August, early September, going into my next year of university. I've been absolutely loving my time in the sport recently, and I'm really pleased to have been able to prove myself in the professional field for another season. Next year, hopefully things will be further up in the field, potentially pushing for prize money. But for now, I'm just really grateful for the opportunities I've been given. At just 21, I'm really excited for what the next 5, 10, 20 years in the sport can be. Thank you so much for the support and for following along and the support on your YouTube channel here. I'll be posting regularly over the next couple of weeks, so hit that subscribe button and I'll see you in the next one.